possibly in their names, but at least they're very easy to pronounce, at least for my sake. As we get on the Lijiang Tower Control Center, see BTRG running these Zen Goats, equally matched here from Bilibili as the green team here. Bilibili taking that server side, and BTRG trying to keep their forces regrouped. You see Yang Yang got stunned, but it is over that drops first.
And interestingly enough, it's SkyShow actually on the Diva, and Wands is playing the Zarya. So perhaps, you know, if they wind up wanting to change up their composition, they're going to want SkyShow to flex to that position. Probably is the case here for SkyShow being on this particular character, but winning out early, having that massive charge on the Brigitte means that they can play this a little bit aggressively here to build towards the other ultimates.
Incredibly high energy here from Shy. The shatter comes down. I think mostly got blocked, except Winter was in front of the shield. Now Bilibili down by 1. They will take a step back, and you can see BTRG trying to chase after these final kills. They won't get the finish off, but playing defense here on Control Center is such a big advantage.
Yeah, they already have the control. They are already building up their ultimates. Bilibili comes away from some of these fights actually quite ahead in terms of economy, but the longer this takes, the more time they give to BTRG to start building into those same exact opportunities, and they can really play into that, especially given their control of the map right now and their positioning here to try to take advantage of these close corridors.
Different route of approach here from Bilibili as both grabs online. And this will be the trigger pulled first here from Wands BTRG, but they're stuck in equally into the grab from Shy. The triple self-destruct kill from SkyShow clears away Bilibili, and they will be back in spawn again.
And not only that, but they're winning these fights while also matching the ultimates used by Bilibili as well. So 70% right now, realistically only one more shot here for Bilibili. And Big Time Regal Gaming has virtually everything that they need to be able to sustain through this. They have the rally. Winwin's going to have his beat up very soon to match Mika's.
Looking for a shatter here is over. He's only got 3 ahead of him, but BTRG are just not letting go of this choke point. It is 85% plus. And Bilibili or BLG, whichever one, they still have to break through. And you're looking at a barrier. You're looking at a shatter. What kind of opportunity can they start? The barrier starts. It gives them a little bit of breathing room to get through this choke. Now BTRG starting to take a step back. They use their own support ultimates over shatter. And he's back in spawn. It's just multiple kills for BTRG. But a bit of a back cap went through. BLG by themselves some time. They are down a few members. BTRG hold on. They have the most amount. And Yang Yang's just going ham. And that will be a flip for BTRG and soon to be the victory here on Control Center.
Way to stay composed here, but you have to maintain that now as we do see the rest of Bilibili trying to get onto the point and maybe try to get on this and flip it here at the last possible moment.
Cole, this Transcendence was enough to keep Over alive. Now reinforcements here from BLG and SkyShow. Another self-destruct from this guy. It's amazing to see. No main shield for Billy or BLG, but they have a grab coming up from Shy. If they can survive the one from Wands, then it's not going to be the case. Shy did respond with his grab, but the rest of his team were dead. BTRG 100-11 against this Academy team of BLG.
Yeah, I mean, not only is BLG the expected, you know, one of the top teams going into not only this group, but also the region. They're also phenomenal at goats. From what we saw last week, they were very composed. They had everything that they needed to stay cohesive. You could see the synergy right out of the gates. You know, we talked about it before as well. The core of Flag Gaming in this roster really showing out. But goats versus goats, BTRG is simply outplaying them. They're matching cooldowns very well when they have the ability to, you know, play reactively. They're doing it and punishing Bilibili time and time again. And so far, we've seen really good stuff from both Wands and Arong out the gates and kind of, like I said, again, outplaying Bilibili.
Bit of a risky pin there from Yang Yang, and he's going to be by himself. The rest of the team now joining him. It's the Reinhardt duels between the two. Vizichan's already out of mech. Not a great start for BLG. What a pin. Well, the kill was finished off anyway, and BTRG with that first cap, and a bit of a deja vu when BLG didn't get that first cap. BTRG almost 100-0 them. We'll have to see how BLG will come back from this.
Yeah, BTRG, you can see them occasionally making those NYXL sprays against the wall, and they're playing that exact same style. The reactionary, full-on punishment style of that 3-3 composition, playing this in a way where every time Bilibili overextends, they're going to catch them. Even if it's a diva, they're going to bring down Zijin every single time if he's overextending to try to make a play for Billy.
Oh, Yang is so far forward, he got stunned. He's gonna have the shatter. Can he lay it down in time? Slams it down, but the Transcendence will keep BLG alive no matter what. Yang with his over-aggression, able to get shatter first, back to the spawn room first as BTRG lost their main shield. They now retreat back towards the point. They want to extend their lead. Wands, does he want to keep the grab until he has the full 6? And that seems to be the decision he wants to take.
Well, they're only gonna have to wait for their Lucio to come off the spawn. We should see Bilibili getting aggressive here to try to take a little bit more charge while BTRG can't rotate quickly without their Lucio, but they're not going to take advantage of that opportunity, and BTRG are going to be able to easily and quickly coalesce and start pushing back in. They're not going to lose too much point accruance because of this.
Well, there's going to be a shatter from Over. He slams it down. It does catch actually 2, but the Transcendence, thankfully, from Eren keeps them healed up. Now time to engage. Wands with the grab. Sky Show, self-destruct, not making as much of a Sky Show as what he would have liked. But BLG already have lost too much. 2 players down, and it was their Rien and Zarya. You need that sustain. You need that damage mitigation. So they give up the point for the moment, and BTRG go to control the choke.
Just a little bit disconnected, especially in comparison to how we saw them last week. BTRG just really putting BLG off of their game right now, and you can see them trying to figure something out here, playing aggressive once again. BTRG trying to force yet another mistake.
Tried to force that self-destruct out here from Zijin, but they lost Mika, who had barrier. This forces Coldest out to have that Transcendence, to have that early fight advantage. 1-to-1 trade. Over is out for BLG. No main shield, no Shy. And meanwhile, BTRG, they hold on to the point. It's going to get them close to 80%, and that will be BLG's last chance to flip Lijiang Tower in their way.
They're in dire straits right now. Shy, they have the grab pretty close here, but again, BTRG have everything that they need. If we're talking about going Transcendence versus Beat, Transcendence is going to win that matchup. BTRG can out-sustain them and really go aggressive to try to break down that extra shielding that the Lucio is going to provide when they need it. So Bilibili, they're in a very dangerous situation here.
Well, Shy will be the one to watch. He has grab coming up. They don't have the self-destruct to pair with it, but Over can maybe put enough damage into it, but the Transcendence was there from Eren. Probably not enough damage can go through into that. BLG rotate now towards the point. Shatter from Over was waiting for them. BTRG, they block it. Now time to engage with their own Graviton here from Wands. Barrier, though, from Bilibili will keep them up. They all get shattered. Transcendence now lays over here from Coldest. BLG are layering their support ultimates perfectly. 99% here for BTRG, and BLG should be able to get the flip.
Huge play from BLG there. Coldest especially on the Zenyatta, delivering that last bit of damage that they needed to take down Yang. They opened that opportunity up, 6v5 advantage. They're still kind of in a precarious position because they did just get grabbed. They are not as healthy, so he does get his trance out, but coming away from that fight, he's still going up 50% towards his next one. So starting to keep the pace with Eren a little bit, and they're going to need that here now more than ever because BTRG are potentially one fight away from being able to take this map from them.
But can they survive the combo from BLG? Shy's about to get grabbed. Zijin's waiting with the self-destruct. And there's only a Transcendence from BTRG to counter it. Self-destruct actually sent from Sky Show. See if he can divide and conquer. Now Shy throws the grab. Zijin self-destruct. It gets covered here from Yang. No stun or no CC to allow that combo to go through. But without that combo, they don't even need it because BLG won another fight. And we're about to get to a 99 to a 99 fight coming up.
Yeah, all you want here is positive economy delta. You want to make sure that you're coming out of these fights using far less than what BLG is forced to utilize. So if they use 3, you only want to use 1 or ideally none. And then you can get into this fight with an advantage. BTRG are trying to build into that, but it's still difficult. Coldest still has that Transcendence available.
And Shy's about to lap Wands on this grab usage. What a shatter! Oh my goodness, but Yang getting too aggressive to hammer into it will sacrifice his own life. And look at Shy with that high energy. Not only will he have another grab, but the rest of the team have done the work for him. BTRG, they were supposed to win this. They were up by 99% to so little from BLG. But the sustain, the composure from this team of BLG will send us into a round 3 of Lijiang Tower.
So we are going to Gardens, and so far what we've seen is triple tank, triple support, but Gardens probably the map that you would expect to be potentially a little different. You know, if ever there was going to be a time for BTRG to pull something different out, it's going to be right here. And it looks like that might actually be the case. Bilibili, on the other hand, you expect to run a 3-3, perhaps what they're hovering right now, which is the Winston version. You're going to see a lot of aggression coming out of BLG, certainly out of the gates. They're going to look for that soft reset. They're going to re-engage right after, and that's when they're going to look for the kills. And when they do it, they're certainly going to go for the backline. There's not going to be as much peel here for BTRG because they are bringing 2 DPS in. They are going to be running in with the Pharah and the Sombra, so the Zenyatta is the one that's going to need the most peel from Bilibili as they go in aggressively.
Triple DPS, and you have the double support, double tank. It's looking pretty good so far. My triple, I can count. There's 2 DPS. Anywho, BTRG, what they want to do is hack and hopefully rain in those rockets from Cloud. Opening up with an EMP barrage or an EMP anything would be great for them. But now the point's going to unlock. How are BTRG going to push inside this point? Bilibili now getting that cap seems to be first, and BTRG not contesting it quite as much.
Yeah, they needed at least one body to try to keep that point contested for as long as possible, but it's all about winning the first fight and building into momentum. They got to make sure that they're getting the kills.
Look at the charge from Shy and look how much energy or ult charge he has. BLG are more focused on the objective than necessarily ramping up that momentum. They know that that is more important. Staying out of line of sight from Cloud and avoiding hacks from SkyShow, checking your doing spy checks here with Zijin, that'll be what's important.
Yeah, BLG playing this so intelligently. They're playing very passively, very defensively, waiting for opportunities. Yang extending with his shift. He doesn't have the ability to get out. They jump on him. Easy kill for them to set up, especially with the Brig.
But what happens is BTRG are taking so much time to retake the point. Now this momentum, all this snowball starting to form for BLG. They're getting up to support ultimates. They're going to get close to a Grav. But BTRG now have an EMP. SkyShow gets stunned, and he gets dealt with immediately as he went to set up a play for BTRG. A Transcendence was used from Eren, and now a barrage on top of it should keep him up. But it's mostly Matrix not having the value he's looking for. BTRG are now getting staggered. SkyShow is out. Eren and Wands, they're going to have to reset. And that was after using 2 support ultimates that fight.
And now you're forced into a position that you never want to be in. You're forced to swap to the 3-3 at 70%. You're down in economy. There's realistically no real shot. You got the primal advantage towards BLG as well. It is going to take every bit of a dream to be able to flip this point at this stage against BLG.
You do not want to be in a small room with Over. He's taking up way too much room, slamming people into corners. Does finish off SkyShow, not even having energy. It is fine. Now they have to get the Moira out, see if they can out-heal BLG. But at 95% now, you have to get someone for BTRG to touch. And I'm not sure anyone is really there, maybe besides a Lucio, but Win taking care of as soon as he got there. Leftover ultimates from BLG. They got a barrier. They're about to get Transcendence. This would really surprise me if BTRG can turn this around.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult, especially with only 2 up right now. They are going to get wasted away. BLG should be able to take this after everything is said and done.
100-0. And this was after, I just want to say that BTRG had a really good first round. It was 100-11. You're like, okay, BTRG, I see you. Keep it up with the academy teams. And BLG was like, hey, we just woke up. We went for a nap during the hour of the server break. And we're back. And they're feeling hot. 2-1 win for BLG, the turnaround on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, really good stuff there. Initially from BTRG, they actually went toe-to-toe with Bilibili quite well early on. As you mentioned, Control Center went very well for them. The initial stages of Night Market went very well for them as well. But I think what really hurt them at the end of the day is when we actually did see them go into Gardens. They had a composition. It wasn't working out. You could tell it was like kind of turning stale very early on, and they stuck with it. And the issue with Control is that once a team gets that control, you only have 100 seconds. That's it. So if you're going to make a swap, it has to be early. And if you stick to a composition that simply isn't working, you are going to get stuck. And that's exactly what happened to BTRG.
Well, the Pharah, the Somber, it didn't seem like they were setting up a play together, right? It felt like SkyShow, when he went to engage with EMP, he got stunned and he got absolutely wrecked. And that's when maybe SkyShow should not be in the middle of 6 people, has to be careful still with Somber. You got invincibility, you got Translocator, but the Brigida can stun you and create at least that little bit of time that the team needs to finish him off. But there's plenty of time for BTRG to come back. We'll be heading into King's Row. We'll be right back after the short break. Welcome back, everybody, to Contenders China. We have Bilibili versus BTRG, where a bit of a shake-up. BTRG took the first round, and BLG slapped back on the next two to take the first map, and we're going to King's Row.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a backhanded slap too. The way that they turned around Night Market, it was 99 to basically nothing, and then, you know, being able to get the clean victory as well on Gardens and doing it against a composition that really I think is quite oppressive. Although it was only the double DPS. I mean, it was a 2-2-2 as opposed to what you would probably consider the more standard triple DPS against triple tank support compositions, I would say, ideally.
Well, yeah, we talked about BTRG playing a little bit more DPS than usual, while as BLG will mostly run goats. At least from week 1, we've only seen them play that. Of course, week 2, anything can happen. There are some DPS players on this team. Yakumo, Projectile, Winter, you know, they're eventually going to be coming in. Oh, looks like Yakumo will be subbing in for Winter. And of course, that's for the Brigida role, but possibly some DPS.
Yeah, so interestingly, you know, we're kind of still waiting for Bilibili to actually bring out some DPS compositions. From what we saw last week, we got to see, you know, goats, we got to see Winston goats, but we didn't get to see all too much else. So it's interesting that BLG is going to be putting him back in. I imagine it's going to be probably catering, especially to King's Row. They're going to be bringing that same team roster that was able to play very well against 666 Legends last week with that GOATS style.
And King's Row will be coming up next for our hybrid, supposed to be hybrid map. And we're heading right into the game. We'll see who will be attacking first. But yes, it will be BLG who is up 1-0 in this 4-map set where, you know, they're the favorite team to be coming in, to be honest. They're not only an academy team with all the resources, but they got a pretty stacked roster of Flag Gaming that got 2nd place last season, and also Shy, a super well-known name, not only in the Chinese scene, but in the World Cup scene, who was part of Team China, who got 2nd place at the World Cup. So lots of veteranship on the side of BLG.
Yeah, absolutely. A phenomenal player Shy is. I mean, we saw it even already in that last map. Now as we start to go into this map here, Zarya is one of the most pivotal characters here on King's Row, especially with the compositions that we're going to be seeing here. Of course, it's triple tank, it's triple support right out of the gates from both sides.
Now my question is, can BTRG keep up with this? We saw a little taste of it on Lijiang. It was very back and forth. Sticking to goats might be what BTRG are best at, and we'll see how the substitution works for BLG, where Yakumo's going to be playing that Brigida role, but already high energy is Shy, and this could be an opportunity for BLG to start breaking down this shield here of Yang Yang as it's completely broken, swinging away. This has to be the moment BLG engage.
Yeah, they need to keep putting pressure down, get that free ult charge. Whenever that barrier's down from Yang Yang, that's their opportunity to build.
Absolutely, 1 down for the defense. BLG have now taken control of the area. Yang Yang's shield is so low, and you got a high energy Shy, 20% away from a grab. That point is pretty much secured if BLG are hunting for more.
And all that was pure pressure onto Yang Yang's shield. It was not much that he could do, and there's not a lot that his D.Va could do as well. But talking about D.Vas, Juan's actually going back over to the D.Va. SkyShow taking up the Zarya role, and you can see the discrepancy there. Shy versus SkyShow. Shy's had his grab. SkyShow's still struggling to get his up, while big time Regal Gaming is dying right now.
Oh, they're straight dying. BLG, though, they have the ultimates. They already used Transcendence and a rally. Shy's holding on to the grab because he's actually a human microwave who is pushing BTRG back without any ultimates. BTRG haven't had a chance to have any sort of defense.
And think about this as well. BLG have done this without having to really utilize too much, and all this space that they're just stealing away from BTRG, it's absolutely insane. Shy's had his grab now for like a minute and a half, and he hasn't been able to actually get it out because it's never been necessary. SkyShow is going to really need to step up and set things up for BTRG so that they can get some kind of momentum going, shifted back into their favor, and make a stop somewhere at this point in the map.
Well, thankfully for BTRG, BLG only had 1 person on the cart, so they actually are just halfway through point B. The shotter gets blocked. BTRG now have a chance to engage. SkyShow completely misses the grab, Not what you want to see from there. Starting to panic. Shy holds on to his grab, throws it out. Self-destruct from ZJ, lighting it up. Does it knock him down? Double kill for the offensive team, but it's equally traded out from the defense. BLG now use the barrier. They want to win this fight. They know the Zarya. It's the most amount of DPS. They deal with him first. And Wands is just a grocery store feeding ultimates. BLG will get point B.
Definitely going to be able to clean that one up. And again, you can see Shy outpacing. You know, they just both threw him out, but Shy is just maintaining this energy level. And you can see why China wanted this guy on their team, to be able to have this level of proficiency, this level of consistency on this character, especially on a map like King's Row where it's so necessary. You want to get that grab pace very, very high, and that's exactly what they're getting out of him for BLG. He's already got another grab coming up so soon.
Yeah, Yang setting up the shatter. You saw the Lucio at the top. See if he can bop someone around to see if he can land that shatter. But 2 kills, or make it, oh, just a ton of kills from BLG, melting away the faces of BTRG, who have, I don't even think they've won a defense so far. 4 minutes and 20, and they're heading towards the down the barrel of King's Row. BTRG are coming back with some ultimates, though.
All right, BTRG, they got one last shot here. Both support ultimates now up or coming up. Unfortunately for them, BLG are going to be able to kind of play this a little bit slowly and try to see what they can do in terms of just drawing this one out long enough to build some ultimates of their own.
Zoning out the area, Zijin with that self-destruct. Yang did get a shouter, but didn't nail anyone he was looking for. And now both support ultimates, tons of support ultimates coming out. BLG are just meters away from finishing this one off, and BTRG, they have Sky Show's grab. They look like they've temporarily warded off BLG, and they want to keep that grab for the next fight.
Great isolation onto over there, actually. I mean, the Reinhardt was caught in that closet, and LOS away from Coldest when he did pop that trance. Everything else building up to that was actually in BLG's favor. They were able to get the trance out very late. They burned through Erong's trance. They actually pulled out the beat from WinWinQ as well, and then finally pulled out their own trance. Unfortunately, that LOS was everything. Big time Real Gaming throwing the Reinhardt over into that closet was huge. Very pivotal moment for them in that fight. Now they have a shot at this next one because Erong, look at what he was able to do. Big trance in his favor.
And a big grab and a big self-destruct doesn't nail BLG, not for the moment. It was actually both grabs exchanging. This really benefits the defense. They've survived this very lethal graviton only for the moment, and they'll keep their energy to spare. Yang's gonna have a shatter, and BLG now have lost over. There's nothing that could block the shatter coming up, but WinWin's fragging out as the Lucio, and that's another defensive win for BTRG.
Momentum certainly in favor of BTRG right now, but look at BLG here. Mika, Coldest, they've got the support ults. They got Rally coming up as well. Bilibili could basically turn into a lawnmower and just run over BTRG straight out of the gate. So, I mean, what we're going to see here, I would have to imagine, is aggression out of BLG. They're going to come streaming through with their support ultimates and look for the kill on the Reinhardt in isolation as quick as they possibly can.
Well, let's see if the grass is greener on the other side of this fight. The barrier starts from BLG. The shatter nails most of the team, and you got no main shield here from Over. Yang now wants to hold his shield and let his team do the rest of the work. They just need to shave off this offensive time bank that BLG have been working towards, but Shy is working towards another grab. They just use the Transcendence, and they have Over's shatter. Self-destruct thrown, ton of ultimates, but you see your kill feeds in green for BLG. Now clearing up the last remaining member of the defense as a few meters left, and BTRG are coming back from spawn.
They're going to bring a Hammond around too, just to knock them about. Bilibili have to be quick in terms of their target prioritization. Got to get these guys down quick.
There's no ultimates for BTRG. They got to stay on the card. Oh my god, it almost got to the parking lot. The barrier started. You got a Bastion from Wands that's setting up into the back, and it's raining down so much damage. You just threw a mech, but all you did was give him more courage as he rains down more damage, whistling the victory for the defense. 1 minute remains for BLG, and that'll be their last chance to cap King's Row.
What a great play there. Wands actually, and this is what we're talking about, the ability to flex over and show off that versatility. Sky Show making the swap over to the Sombra. Wands going to the Bastion as well. They're going to build into the ultimates there. EMP with the configuration tank is going to be huge for them. They can really dish out a ton of punishment. That's going to be actually insane if they can pull that off and have the rest of the team stay alive in the grab.
You're gonna have grab for Shy, and he's gonna land it right on the team, but Wands is around the corner, about to have tank configuration. Over's about to nail the only shield that can protect BTRG from this lethal tank. Wands nails the back line, going for more blood on Mika, who can only dance and wall right away. Oh my goodness! BLG came back from a tank configuration, ultimate bonanza from the defense. A 4-minute offense almost turned into now 3 seconds. Defense not able to force the overtime, but what an incredible turnaround for BTRG.
And that is curveball number 1, is it not? BTRG able to pull that off.
Hey, well, as we go into the next round, let's invite back our expert analyst, LaFon. How crazy was that defense?
It was a fantastic defense, but I think one of the more interesting thing is how did it actually get all the way to that 3rd point, right? Before all the shenanigans with the Bassin, with the Sombra that stalled out a bunch of time, how did they get so much time bank there at the very beginning of the map? And it all comes down to when you're talking about the 3-3 setups, right? We kind of highlighted BTRG before, but right now what's kind of happening is that the tank line for BTRG is just all over the place. You're playing the Rien Zarya in a single position, and then you're playing the D.Va off in no man's land, essentially. And that's allowing Shy a ton of space, and it's allowing him to farm Grav, not only farm Grav, but farm energy, and actually take very, very little damage. So that's one thing BTRG, you know, it's a great hold at the very end, but ideally you want to prevent the rest of the map from going that quickly, especially if you get around to a 2nd round of attack, and of course, on your defense. So, you know, it comes down to sort of settling up and just reducing some of the damage you're taking in.
Well, Heurix, it was like the snowball we talked about with goats, except they built a giant castle snowman thing, because as soon as BLG got the point, where was BTRG?
Yeah, I mean, it was like one of those forced avalanches, right? Right before that winter season.
Avalanche.
Yeah, you have to force that out with dynamite or something. That's what it looked like, right? It was explosive right from the start. Just like LaFon was saying, Shy was able to have so much space there, and they were able to just trample right over them, create momentum, and go from that point. But BTRG, again, that first curveball thrown, now they're going to go on to the attack.
Well, thanks, LaFon. We'll go into our 2nd round. It'll now be BTRG's time to attack. Only a 3-second time bank from BLG, so this is definitely winnable in terms of not only if they can finish the map, but if they can get a better time bank. Unfortunately, BLG will have a 2nd offense, but it's the DPS from BTRG that come out again, and we saw kind of how shaky this was on Lijiang.
So already we see that quad DPS, like you were saying, and they're pushing them off the point, but they have to really kind of jockey for control here and really start looking for some single targets, and Over might be the first one to go for.
Okay, so this worked out a little bit better. The difference being now they have Eren, who can maybe take the attention and maybe set something up for Cloud. Cloud, without that, you know, the eyes on him, or maybe even Skyshow, without the eyes on him, can go for those shots. And with that, BTRG will get the point.
Looks like they should be able to get this, but Cloud really taking advantage of the fact that nobody can touch him with this comp that BLG has come out with, and Eren looking for those kills. Finally, they're going to get some under their belt, and now backing off BLG here as well. They might be able to take a couple of picks and create a little bit of a stagger opportunity where they can really play off the momentum, get that cart through arches, and not have to take the fight versus the 3-3 comp at that stage in that choke, where of course BLG is going to have a hefty advantage.
And especially having that mercy here for BTRG, if BLG even just get 1 pick, if they don't absolutely run over BTRG, you can create these resable situations, and you gotta cover your kills so that Win-Win can't res them.
And we're gonna see a lot of ultimates coming up for BTRG, and these are gonna be very, very lethal here as well. In particular, they're gonna be the EMP already pulled out here.
Nice, it nails most of BLG, and Cloud goes to clean up the rest, but the cart objectively hasn't moved a ton, because BLG have not given up that space yet.
And they are still just kind of contending here, and we do see the barrage still at the ready for Cloud as well, but he's so low, and he cannot do anything about that for now.
And I don't know if anyone saw, but Skyshow was actually behind the defense as the Widow, kind of tickling them into the back, and they were like, wait, where's those shots coming from? What the heck? And as you confuse not only their attention, but their focus away from the offense, this is how BTRG are trying to take advantage. But Shy as the Zarya is having so much energy, and he's leading the team further and further into this defense where objectively the card hasn't moved.
Yeah, and this is a tough position to be in too, because BTRG can fall into that same trap that they were falling into on Garden. I believe they are actually recognizing this. They are going to make swaps here And this is very, very smart from them. They already saw that Coldest swapped over to the Moira. They're going to be able to survive that chip damage. So they say, okay, we're going to take the 3-3 head on now. We're going to have the Zen advantage here as well as we get into the street phase. Really open up. We could take this right to the Winston and shut Over down very soon and create momentum off of that.
Oh, he's just so high energy. They realize that if you can't shut Shy down, you need your own Zarya, and you need the GOAT sustain of the triple support. Shy getting closer to the grab as a bit of a mix-up. BTRG are trying to get onto the cart, and BLG, who's the defense, are just surrounding them.
And still Shy's holding on to that grab, so as we do see BTRG able to take down Coldest, he's going to be going over to the Zen. They're going to match that composition straight up. They still have the Winston on the board, so I think here they really want to back up, play this from around a different corner here so that Over can actually have a point to fall back to. If he does go 1-to-1 against the Reinhardt, that's going to be a very hard place to contest. So they need like a high ground or some kind of point to fall back so that they could get a reset going.
Oh. Interesting grab from Shy to catch Sky Show, and then they collapse onto the backline of BTRG, who had just no idea what route they were taking. And this has been multiple defensive stops here from BLG. And meanwhile, you remember on their offense, they made point B look like a speed run. They were pushing point C spawns when they were still pushing the point B cart. So if BTRG don't ramp up the nitro on this cart, they're going to be, I'd be surprised if they even finish the map.
Yeah, they were spawn camping at the end of the map before they were getting the cart through arches. But in the meantime, BTRG, they swapped late, so now we're going to see them finally getting into that point where they can start pushing onto the gas pedal here. They're going to have the ultimates in tow.
Okay, an interesting, or a good shatter from Yang as now they surge forward. They use the rally from Cloud to give them extra armor. BLG have given up some space, but they're working towards Shy, and he's gonna be your next target on the list. Zijin eats Sky Show's grab. This has been 2 missed grabs from BTRG. They need to work on that, because Shy gets blown up by the self-destruct, so that's how you take care of 2 grabs out of this fight. BTRG, minute and 20, or around there to get to point B. They use their Transcendence, and finally they're pressuring BLG enough, but this Primal from Over is stalling the card a bit.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to continue this stall for just a couple more seconds, and given where they took that fight, this should be BTRG taking this point. I don't imagine BLG are going to be able to contest, especially not without Zijin and Over, who's going to be making the swap over to the Reinhardt. And this is a very smart swap at this point in the game, where they can now take this head on, go for the Ryan v Ryan matchup, where Over has been pretty solid. They're going to actually go grab for grab here as well, backing up with both of the sound barriers. So a lot of death going to be raining down.
Well, speaking of Jazz, Zijin with the triple kill for BLG, the sound barrier on top of that. BTRG were just celebrating that they got point B after about 60 fights, and now they gotta do this stuff again.
I guess you go back and you try it again.
Go again?
Yeah, the way you do that is try to make sure that you start creating a little bit of space for Yang Yang here. Over has been all over Yang Yang pretty much every single time they have this Ryan v Ryan matchup, and Arong is going to be able to back him up a little bit better this time. We're going to be seeing both Coldest and Arong ready to go with the Transcendence, so that we can see this sustain out quite a ways.
So both rallies started, but BLG are so good at wasting time in these fights, making sure the cart doesn't move. It's going to be a shatter to shatter coming up. Yang Yang having his first, and he just used it. I think it only caught Zijin, and Coldest was there with the Transcendence, but 2 people from his team already just died. BLG gave up that defense after 2 support ultimates used, and BTRG inching themselves closer to the end of point C.
This is going to be an interesting one here that could possibly close things out, Jan. I mean, we're going to see the Transcendence up, as well as lingering rally armor on the table for BTRG, as BLG is going to be coming in with a grab, so they're going to be able to sustain that due to Arong having that Transcendence still, and maybe sustain it long enough for Sky Show to get up a grab of his own, and they could close this one out.
And Shy just has no energy, maybe wants to accumulate a little bit more, and you see BTRG, they have some lower health pools, they're being very passive, but 25 seconds left. They don't want to finish this in overtime, and they'd like to finish this map in general. BTRG getting closer to their grab. The grab that is the best will be winning this fight. What a transcendence reaction from A-Wrong, and now BTRG, they surge forward. It's the shatter that nails down a few of Bilibili, and now a responsive grab and a self-destruct from once from the other side. It's so many ultimates, but BTRG are ahead in the kills, but BLG will have the better respawn. Can they hold on to this defense?
Oh, they're gonna come back from respawn, and they already are getting the advantage. Coldest is fragging out right now. It takes down his counterpart as well, and A-Wrong.
Wow, that is amazing. Coldest is popping off. This guy's a DPS god on the Zenyatta, and there you have it. BLG will be up 2-0 in the series after holding off BTRG on King's Row. And hey, Lafon was right that A-Wrong, the whole Zenyatta matchup is going to be the one to watch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Coldest versus A-Wrong is going to be a phenomenal thing to spectate throughout this matchup. And so far, it seems like Coldest is getting the better end of the deal, I would say, over A-Wrong. We've seen a couple of good things from that Zen player for sure, but Coldest overall has been doing phenomenally throughout.
And Lafon, how impressed were you between that A-Wrong and Coldest Zen matchup?
I mean, it kind of went the way we expected, right? Coldest is probably the best Zen in the region right now, and he kind of showed why at the very end of the map there, right? It's fantastic play from him, hits those shots, but I mean, A-Wrong has held his own. You know, both these Zens have been racing to Transcendence to keep in lockstep with the Zaryas on the opposing team, so, you know, just a masterclass in Zen play for sure.
But did you think that BTRG had a chance at point C once they kind of started building momentum?
I mean, this is another problem. This is the thing about Overwatch, right? You kind of get staggered out on B, and then you kind of lose your time on C. They had an opportunity once or twice, but, you know, they didn't recognize their win conditions. They didn't establish the fact that they had Graviton advantage over the Transcendence once or twice, and that just kind of wasted their time away. I think, though, you know, something BTRG could have done, and this is a point that needs to be made, is that ult economy is the name of the game, right? They open up with a DPS comp on first, which it works out. It's actually a really good comp for how, you know, King's Row A works. You sort of force a bunker comp into a corner where they just take a ton of spam from all directions. But as soon as you head into Streets phase, keeping that DPS players with their, you know, lackluster ultimates, realistically, the only one that's kind of valuable on Streets is the Sombra EMP. The Barrage does not really get you a whole lot of value, neither does Inforesight. I think that's when you have to switch, and BTRG, they just waste away their own time, realistically, because in the Goats v Goats matchup, especially the Zen Goats, they've looked pretty good. They've looked, most of the time, equal to Bilibili.
Yeah, they had a lot of good showings when they've gone Goats, and especially when they allow A-Wrong to actually kind of be the enabled player with that composition as well on the Zenyatta, where they can actually kind of go toe-to-toe with Coldest. I think that's been their best looks, but also what comes to into play is going to be where you take these fights. You can see, you know, some of these positions really favor BTRG where they took them, because their Lucio is able to do so much with the environment, and we saw WinWin doing quite a bit and making sure that he was displacing BLG and giving them the best opportunity to try to stay in this map.
That Bastion almost created a fortress of a defense. I was a big fan of that. But another thing we have to know, the Sky Show played Diva on Li Zhang, and then he played Zarya, where Lafon, we saw, well, one eat and grab and one grab that kind of hit a wall with nobody in it. Do you think Sky Show should be back on the Diva? Do you think it's just a map too? Like maybe he'll warm up a bit?
I mean, in the neutral, so to speak, he's looked pretty okay. I think it's just a little bit of jitters, a little bit of impatience, and if you clean that up, his Zarya could be totally fine. So I don't have a problem with him playing either role, to be quite honest with you.
Well, it's an interesting series so far. BLG are up 2-0 over BTRG, where at least they made the series interesting on Li Zhang, where they started strong, but it will be their last chance on Lunar Colony coming up. We're going to throw it to a quick break, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Welcome back, everybody, to Contenders China, and we have an amazing match so far. BLG versus BTRG. You got Hangzhou Academy being BLG, and BTRG, the underdog, to be honest, where they had a very strong showing on Lijiang, making it close, but unfortunately it is 2-0 for BLG. Do you think BTRG, they got a chance on Lunar Colony?
Absolutely. I mean, so far what we've seen is BTRG has done quite well in this matchup so far. I mean, even on King's Row, a map where you expect BLG to do pretty well, given the fact that, you know, that 3-3, that triple tank, triple support, that's kind of their bread and butter. They do quite well with that. BTRG, on the other hand, you know, that has been something that they've actually shown that they can contend with BLG so far. So as we move on to Horizon Lunar Colony, where you can bring out different things like Winston, Orisa, this is where BTRG can kind of experiment and start doing some wild things and maybe pull something out.
Well, I think Lunar Colony is their best chance. That's why I asked you that. It wasn't a debate. I actually think BTRG have a chance because DPS can be so strong on Lunar Colony defense, especially if you have your sniper, you have an Ash, a Junkrat, which these are all things BTRG have done in the past. The only issue is, can they coordinate this together? Because if you have 4 DPS, but one beefy 100% energy Zarya out DPSs you, that's when you have to work on your focus fire. We'll be heading into Horizon Lunar Colony to see if BLG can close this out 3-0, and then until we go to a 4th map, or if BTRG can start the comeback.
Yeah, so jumping into Horizon, you know, we saw last week how T1W pulled out that very composition, you know, Ash, Junkrat. This is the kind of thing that you would expect from BTRG. Absolutely. I think that, you know, defensively, BTRG is a team that, you know, they could play a Winston dive, go for resets. They could play, you know, snipers. We've already seen stuff like that from them as well. Wands obviously has the ability to run stuff like that. So they have the flexibility. They have the depth on their roster to pull this out for sure. And on the other side, they could even play the triple tank, triple support, and that could be just as strong for them because we've seen how good they can be with it.
And that's BTRG. I know, the B names are getting to me. It's the dive goats on the defense. So this will allow them to kind of hop in and out into safer positions as they build up towards their ultimates like a primal. In BLG, though, they were allowed to go onto the high ground. And with a Reinhardt, that's not where Yang Yang wants to hang out on.
Huge advantage. I mean, not having the Lucio here, BTRG are going to be really, really hurt. BLG can really take advantage of this now. They're already taking advantage of it. They already took down Wands on the Zarya as well. They should be able to easily take A here.
BLG, they just got the point for free, it seems. There was maybe, what, a total of 2 kills within that, quote, fight? But, hey, BLG are definitely starting a snowball here. They've gotten Sky Show out of mech, and they're stepping on to point B.
Well, here's the issue. You only lost 2 kills, but you lost the point quickly, and Shy is already at 70% towards his grab as well. They already have 2 ticks. You gotta play the game. Let's go.
Play the game. I want to see some Overwatch. All right, BTRG are there. They're hanging out. Wands is hanging out back in the spawn room. And BLG, though, their tanks are getting low. Shy has grabbed, and he traps everyone for BTRG, who didn't have their support ultimates yet. A-Wrong was at like 97% time. All right, we didn't have time to read donations during that speed run. But a shout out to BLG. That was the quickest Lunar Colony I've seen in a long time.
I'm trying to think, because there's been a couple of quick Lunar Colonies that I've seen, but that was, I think, the absolute quickest completely. That was so fast from BLG. They easily took that just, again, off of 2 kills, building that momentum. We talked about an explosive avalanche, forced avalanche before. That exactly was pretty much a picture of it.
I think this rotation between rounds will be longer than BLG took up their Lunar Colony attack. And I didn't even get to talk about BTRG's defense. They had this dive goats where, like I said, they can hop in and out of safe situations, but they just hopped out of the Overwatch game because they let BLG take point A for free. And then Sky Show just got demeched, but they just felt like they never got a defense even set up or talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, that only took them 1 minute and 18 seconds. That's how quickly they were able to do that. And then even on that second point, because they were losing people and getting staggered as well as the rotation was coming through from point A, from the attacking side of BLG, they weren't even able to get onto the point and control from there. And remember, Shy that entire time had 70% ult charge just going into point B, again, after less than 1 minute at that stage. So what can you even do? Well, you can give the point up. That's what you can do.
I don't even know. I don't even think SkyShow was allowed to play the game. Like wasn't he the one that died first on point A and then died second on point B? All right, back in the game. BLG are the ones to run DPS here. I was talking about BTRG. They're gonna bring this far, maybe a Junkrat and Ashe, anything. But it's BLG who are now experimenting, as you've said, Orisa D.Va with a Junkrat Ashe defense. This is very popular on Lunar Colony.
Yeah, absolutely. People love playing this comp. I mean, before you would see a lot of that Widowmaker probably being played, but here's the thing, Ashe is very strong. You can really dish out a heavy amount of pressure. Getting the headshots, it can be very lethal, but on top of that, you also have the ability to throw out dynamites and really put some pressure down onto some tank-based and support-based compositions, build into Bob, and then now you have something that can really kind of jockey for control into the point as well.
Oh, right to the point. Right to the point they go. Quickest ride there, a win-win. The door got shut on him pretty quick, so BTRG, they get a tick though. BLG are running this they're running the distance type of DPS with an Ashe and a Junkrat, so they're playing incredibly far away, but they gave a tick for free for BTRG, so hey, I bet they'll take that.
I think we're gonna see a potential Riptire play, but it might not even be necessary. That dynamite pressure, the spam damages a lot here from BLG.
There's almost a second tick left. I thought BTRG were just gonna reset. Just gonna slap that one right back onto wands. 2 minutes and 30 something left, and BTRG, they're gonna try the Symmetra again, and they'll have her ultimate, so maybe that can split the point, give them an advantage against all of this damage coming in from BLG.
But think about this. We're going to see the bongos drop from Over. We're going to see that damage increase from Mika as well onto Shy, potentially, or even Yakumo that's going to be able to push out so much more damage. They already have a kill on the board as well. 6v5 advantage to Billy. That was a really nice move from Zijin to kind of separate the tanks away from the supports. So it allowed A-Rong and Wands to go down, and there's still cleanup time. So BTRG, they just kind of reset or die as soon as they can. But now you're coming up on DPS ultimates from BLG that are pretty scary. And we will see, yeah, those DPS ults are definitely something to keep an eye out for, but Cloud can separate everything from the rest of his team. He can kind of protect people once he throws down that gigantic wall, that massive shield that comes down. I mean, they're definitely going to go for that same play, go straight to the point if they can, and then once they go there, they will have to...
No!
Oh, he's dead, so unlucky.
Got him! You might not want to go through that doorway. They're still going to do it, and like you said, that Symmetra ultimate might want to be kept to kind of isolate Bob away from the rest of the team. They're not running an Ana to kind of sleep him. They don't have any answer to Shy's Bob, and you don't really need an answer when you're all kind of dead. Down to a minute though, and SkyShow wonderfully sets himself off the edge.
Takes some time, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
no grav like that.
Damn
or
gravity.
low grav, rather.
Damn low gravity.
But either way, just a minute left. Under a minute left for BTRG. They have a ton of ultimates coming up here, but BLG haven't had to use virtually anything. I mean, they've got Tyre back up again for Yakumo. They've had Bob this entire time. They've never had to use any of their support ults either, so things looking good for the defensive side.
So this wall is... Well, I thought they would go towards the right
Okay.
side, go towards the high ground, now using it, and now this wall is not helping them towards the point. You got a Riptire from Yakumo, and this could be the end of BTRG. They're down 0-2, but they've survived some waves of the ultimates from BLG. You got the Supercharger, you got Shy's Bob out, some support ultimates out. Coldest holding on to that Transcendence will be what the defense maybe needs, but BTRG, some last-minute swaps, but they're on to the point. This could be the start of something good.
This could be the start of something beautiful here. Coldest goes down. He had the trans, and now the DPS are falling as well. BTRG could do this.
Wow, and that's Cloud just being a secret ninja or a secret sniper into the back that got a 2K, make it 3K. And then while everyone was like, hey, they have a sniper now? Yang crawls up towards through the staircase and just hammers them in the head. So great offense from BTRG. It took some time, but you know, perfection does take time.
And speaking of time, they get 4 minutes added, so they can make their swaps now and go back over to a fairly recognizable composition here, as Wands does have the Graviton Surge available. So when they do drop this down, expect Coldest to run right at it with the Transcendence, keep his team alive, try to play into the respawn advantage as well. They're just trying to buy time.
This might be bad though. Cold is gonna have has a transcendence, so if this grab comes out with without the self-destruct, I'm not sure if it'll be enough damage to kill down BLG. As now the grab is thrown out here from Wands. They do secure 1 kill. Cold has used the transcendence, keeps his team healed up. Almost a first tick. 3 minutes. If they lose this fight, this is fine. They have more time to go, but Yang swinging away, taking care of BLG, who are back in spawn. Now this momentum is building for BTRG. Back in mech, support ultimate's about to be online, but Shy's coming back with Grav.
It looks like they're gonna be able to take this, and that was huge. Shy trying to get a play out there, but Wands, honestly, pivotal, big brain, honestly, galaxy brain play, throws the grab onto the rover to actually create LOS away from the Transcendence so they could get a kill despite the Transcendence going out. That is a galaxy brain play if I've ever seen one. Great play from Wands on the Zarya there.
And they finished the map. I thought they were gonna get full held on A. It was some crazy stuff. The Symmetra wall wasn't really my flavor of the month, but they kind of tried some new strategies. You know, you told me things were gonna be a little experimental on the map 3, and you were right.
Yeah, they definitely experimented, and the experiments didn't work out so well, but again, like you said, eventually they did get the job done, unfortunately with a massive time deficit. So they're going to be bouncing back right into in another attack. And I imagine they're not going to go for the Symmetra attack this time around. It did not work. I think they're going to try to figure something else out. BLG, I think you just go for the same thing. You bring out the Ashe, you bring out the Junkrat one more time.
I do like the Symmetra strat, though. I think it was probably the perfect way to play that. If you have so many projectiles and damage coming at a distance, close that distance as fast as you can. And hey, the fastest way to do that is with a Symmetra TP. So I'm very proud BTRG finishing the map. But like you said, that's a big time bank difference. 6 minutes and 42 to the 3 minutes BTRG have. So BLG will start on the defense, and they're running what they did last time with the Ashe and Junkrat.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing them coming through with a dive setup this time alongside the EMP. So what they really want to do here is just push out a little bit of pressure. It's going to be tough to do that, you know, behind an Orisa shield, but as they can, they want to push out pressure, build into an EMP blade, and use that for a win condition to just trample over this bunker up defense of BLG.
Oh, you gotta follow up with this dive. The bubble misses, so you don't have as much damage mitigation. Cloud reflecting, but he's stuck in the trap. That's 1 DPS down. And you can see SkyShow tried to set up some hacks. He got Shy hacked, but there wasn't the follow-up that they were looking for. And this was kind of their issue on Lijiang, where SkyShow kind of sets up the play, but maybe there's a miscommunication.
We'll see now. Yakumo trying to build up that tire, and it looks like they won't even need it for now because he's able to dish out the damage regardless with his mines instead. And as these DPS ults come up, we know what happens here, right?
Oh, no.
We know what happens here. There's just so much pressure to deal with.
Oh, yeah, and especially when you're getting halted away from your escape route. They're going to be working towards a nano blade. That's got to be their winning condition. Even throw an EMP. You just got to overkill BLG at this point, but you don't have a ton of time. You have 1:20. You got to get Cloud faster up there.
And we're going to see the EMP getting close, but yeah, like you talked about, I mean, Cloud, he's only at 50%, and it's already been about half the time that you had allotted to begin with, so he's got to be quicker here, and it might take some damage boosting to get there.
Big anti from Eren. He gives the nano to Cloud, who didn't have the blade yet. And then Bob's on the high ground chilling. Now you got a Riptire waiting, going after the Winston. Yang is out, and this has been a struggle bus of an offense for BTRG. But to be fair, their first offense, it took them quite a while, but they got the job done. But 40 seconds remain, and they have an EMP getting close to the blade.
And now we're going to see Cloud, yeah, at 85%. He's got to be quick, though. They've got 30 seconds left, and Shy's cleaning things up on the Ashe.
Oh my god, the 3K? Are you serious? This is the guy you have to watch in Chinese Contenders. Team China is where everyone knows him from, but he also pops off in Chinese Contenders. So now BTRG, again, I've already said this, nano blade, 2 words, 8 seconds. Can they pop off? But Bob's not going to be online for Shy.
And finally, yeah, they have the combo. They have to use it here, but no nano boost for Cloud, though, so he could get ripped down by the Bob.
Yeah, you want to use that EMP on the Bob, so that kind of gets rid of him, and now the blade goes in from Cloud. Self-destruct zones him out from the rest of the team. What a great defensive self-destruct from Zijin. Same thing happens though from Wands, who throws it out before he ends his life, and now in overtime, BTRG's last chance to cap, or BLG potentially could be walking away with the 3-0 on their next offense. It's projectiles coming in from all angles from BLG. BTRG still ahead. They've gotten their second take, looking for the third. It's in overtime. They can't afford any more losses. Cloud, A-Wrong, a Riptide takes care of Yang Yang. Almost the third take that BTRG needed, and it's not going to happen.
Oh, man. Can you believe that? I mean, think about the ability to execute that defensively again, and not only that, but also shut down the Genji for that long. I mean, Cloud was effectively removed from the situation from the outset. Even when he bladed, he didn't manage to get all too much. So that was a struggle bus from the beginning offensively for BTRG.
A struggle bus with flat tires. That's just how it went. And I was talking about BTRG. They've run more DPS this season. I thought they were the ones that are going to run this Ashe Junkrat full hold defense, but it was BLG that have done that, which thus far in week 1 they have only run goats. So this has been amazing to see the flexibility coming out from BLG and how much it stifled BTRG's whole process.
And they did it with the Ashe too. And I think that's actually so interesting that they used the Ashe versus the Widow. There's a lot of discussion about that right now. And of course, the thing here is that you can still deliver those really, you know, those strong one-hit shots if you can land the headshots consistently, because what you do is you get the Mercy boost, you get the Zen Discord boost as well, and you're still dishing out all that damage. And then you add in the fact that you could have the bongos drop down from the Orisa as well. That's so much damage that you're getting additively on top of one another and just building all that up. And look at this right out of the gates. We're going to be seeing the Torbjorn and the Bastion down on the floor here up high with the Orisa for BTRG.
So going with the Reinhardt goats, realizing now the Bastion double turret, A-Rong with the Ana. So what will be the choice of BLG? Swapping to DPS, Pharah, Hanzo dive. So they'll have to really coordinate this dive perfectly before Sky Show just fills them with bullet holes.
So now it's just about poking. They have so much time. All they have to do is cap this point out basically completely. They have to win the fight and manage to get this point here, but it's going to be all about pushing rotations out of BTRG, forcing them out of that comfortable position that they have right now. And they have a good setup for doing this. You have the Hanzo, you have the Pharah. Just start chipping away and, again, try to force that rotation.
This is going to be so tough for them to dive. You dive right into a Brigitte, or you dive into a turret. There's a lot of dangers from BTRG, and what Yakumo would like to do is use that concussive blast at a distance to maybe dislodge the defense, as BLG now working themselves towards the point where BTRG had to reset up their Bastion.
We're going to see the Hanzo drop the Dragon Strike, force them out, and the Orisa becomes vulnerable.
Oh, so vulnerable is this defense. They actually give the nano to the Diva as Billy pushed towards, not towards the point, it seems. Onto the high ground for the moment. BTRG holding their own, getting closer to the tank configuration. You do not want to let Sky Show stay alive much longer. BTRG, though, they're falling at the seams. BLG focusing on what is mitigating the damage for Sky Show, but they forgot that there's a big beefy tank about to blow up the point, but they're not even letting him inside the point because the barrage could come right on top of him. Deals with the Brigitte, deals with the tanks. What a play from Yakumo.
Oh, they're going to clean this up and finish the job there as well here on point A. BLG taking the series now. It's 3-0, but we've got another map after this one still too. But Horizon Lunar Colony all done and dusted, and BLG dominating on that third map.
Well, we saw the power of a Bastion defense before. It got close, and I think that was BTRG's best chance. As we bring our best analyst back, LaFon. I know this was maybe a tough map to analyze with how fast it went. But what did you think of the DPS play from BLG?
I mean, first of all, speaking of fast, right? We actually have some info on fastest double caps in Overwatch League, and we can kind of compare those. The fastest double cap is a minute 23 for just fastest double cap, right? So this was 5 seconds faster than that. And the fastest HLC double cap was 1:27, so 9 seconds faster than the fastest Overwatch League double capture on Horizon Lunar Colony. And that's, in terms of speed stats, That's as good as you get. So, you know, BLG showing the what for. I mean, the DPS comps, I think a little bit is, you know, a bit of BTRG just walking in head first into it. So, that's a play you don't like to see so much. I'm not necessarily sure the Symmetra play should have gone on for much more than that one push where they got that 2 ticks or so. But, you know, BTRG, they learned the hard way, and as a result, they're down 3-0 here after 3 maps.
Well, they were teasing us with what they could do with that Symmetra wall. But did you think that the Bastion was kind of their best case, or was it the execution or the composition that you thought you had an issue with BTRG's final defense?
When you get the Bastion out like that, you know that they've thrown in the cards. In all honesty, when you've gotten to that point, it really does come down to the fact it's a last-ditch effort. You're hoping that somehow you build time, you buy time any which way you can, and unfortunately it does not work out. But yeah, at the moment, like on King's Row, the Bastion has a very specific niche purpose, right? It's a ton of damage, it's really hard to get to, and you have to force resources out to even begin to counter him. So that's why it works there. But when you start with the Bastion, you're basically saying, you know, we're as good as done here.
I think the
and
other
Shy
thing
has just been we were probably both going to talk about Shy, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. We are definitely going to both talk about Shy for sure. I mean, Ashe, not only that, but like the Zarya, everything that this man pulled out completely across the board was insane. And I think, honestly, the biggest showing that we've seen so far from a player in Chinese Contenders has been Shy in this series so far.
I think mechanically he's been one of the strongest ones so far. Like, just straight up mechanical. Like, beyond the bubble usage, beyond the timings on Zarya, he has just straight up out-fragged his opponents in every single hero he's played. His Zarya has been mechanically monstrous. He's constantly 100 energy, and he's consistently tracking, getting those right-click spacings perfectly. And then we saw what he did on Ashe. He absolutely shredded BTRG. And, you know, with the Junkrat spam coming through, there was not really a whole lot they could do. Shy has honestly just been an MVP in my eyes in terms of his playstyle today.
Absolutely. We were so excited to talk about Shy, Zarya, and we saw now the DPS capabilities of BLG, BTRG. Can they stand a chance at least to take one map against them? We'll be going into Junkertown for a final map, but we'll be right back after this quick break. Welcome back, everybody, to Contenders China. We're in map 4 between BLG and BTRG, where BLG have taken a series 3-0, but we're going to see if BTRG can pull out something funny, like maybe a map win.
That would be a good start for them, right? I mean, at this stage, they need anything they can because map differential could be everything down the line, right? I mean, in group stage, that could really be a differentiating factor. And if you have a map win over a team like Bilibili, who at the moment, you know, they haven't lost a single map. I mean, taking map wins there could be a really big deal, especially if you can win out on your other series.
And it will be Junkertown, where I feel like Bastion was born here. I know it was somewhere in a forest, but probably in Australia in Junkertown, because Sky Show and what was it? There was another player that played Bastion back on Kings Row. His name's escaping me, but I definitely see if BTRG are gonna pull out this Bastion again, it's got to happen on Junkertown.
Yeah, I mean, Junkertown, you know, cart surfing, doing that kind of stuff, the pirate shipping. I mean, we've already seen that out of BTRG. We saw them start things out on Junkertown sorry, not Junkertown, but actually Gibraltar last week, with that protect the president style, right? I mean, they ran that last time around, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Eren on the Bastion. I'm like 95% sure about that, that he was the one to actually run that on Gibraltar. Granted, they had, you know, already pretty much won that map at that stage. They had full held alter ego already. So it would be, I think, surprising if they come out of the gates with something weird like that, you know, straight up. But they could very well do something interesting here, especially defensively, where you have this big open space on that first point. You can run a triple DPS comp or even a quad DPS comp, and it actually can work out pretty well.
And we saw a pretty solid Pharah from Cloud, where you can use these buildings to kind of play out of line of sight. Like we saw I'll wait till the team names come up to make sure, but there is a Bastion coming up, but it's PLG that are doing it first. They debated me. It's Shy on the Bastion. And Yakumo will be helping him out on the Hamzah with the crossfire.
And this is that classic one, right? The 2018 pirate ship, right? Bringing the Hanzo, having also Coldest go onto the Hog, but it's the Hanzo Cloud that's going to get that first pick. Definitely that double sniper.
Has a double sniper slap back from BTRG to actually get behind the Bastion and take him down. And also, not only that, but prevent the res also by killing Mika. Great plays so far from BLG, and they will get off that Bastion, put Shy on the Widow.
Really good stuff from BLG, but, you know, realistically, they have that respawn advantage. They're going to be able to get back into the fight very quickly, and now BTRG are going to have to set up and be aggressively and retake with an Orisa. It's going to be hard for them to get the space, to get the angles for their sniper players to have an effect here.
And you're not running a Zarya from BTRG. They're doing a Roadhog from Eren instead. And one kill starts from BLG, and you can't not get off this card if you're BTRG. Ooh. What a snipe from Cloud. Holy cow. Eren goes for a hook, finishing off this diva with a bigger gun. Oh, Zechen runs him over. What a 1v1 you did not think was going to go that way. But BLG will get point A.
And this is where everybody collectively, as one chorus, says, you don't retake with Orisa. That's just so hard to do, especially going through a tight, like, you know, hallway like that. So he's going to swap over. They're going to go over to the Winston-based 3-3 composition, as Bilibili has swapped as well to the Rien version. Yang sees the Rien version come out. He says, I don't want no part of that. He's going to go over to the Rien himself. So now we're going to have this contest one more time where BTRG taking on BLG at the composition that BLG is known already for being very solid at, very cohesive.
And this is a nice high ground hold from BTRG, and BLG know they have to dislodge that if they want a chance to push this cart forward. Except it didn't really go their way. Now it's just self-destruct in a very tiny hallway. You can see BLG just come out like rats in a wall, and now they're on top of the cart. Yang swinging away the 2K for him, and BLG will have to take a step back.
That was such a smart play actually set up by Ones. They forced everybody from BLG out of that, you know, inside space in that room because it went right up the staircase. They were forced out, just like you said, and BTRG just looked for that opportunity, got their first pick, and then took the advantage from there. So really, really smart setup from their Diva player, and then really quick reaction time from the rest of the team to punish BLG as they came out.
Now you have Yang who's gonna have the shatter. He slams it down and got blocked from Over, and now it's the response. They're trying to break out of this very tiny room, but at least this benefits BTRG because the card hasn't moved in quite some time, and they'll have to keep waiting because they all just died again.
BTRG are just so good at managing from the high ground. They've done that so much, and actually last week BLG, they were really phenomenal on the high ground, playing especially on maps like Blizzard World. They took advantage of that time and time again. They had good drop engages. Now BTRG are kind of taking a page out of BLG's book and doing just the same, having these drop engages on top of BLG's heads and finding the opponent very quickly and taking out anybody that they see available.
See if BLG can get this cart going. They keep liking to go into these small tiny rooms, taking this high ground now. The grab is thrown from Shy. Zijin has the self-destruct, and you're waiting to guess, but no one died yet. Now BTRG want to respond with their own grab, and it didn't seem to get as many kills. Wands also gets the self-destruct block, so back to neutral as BLG use their support ultimates. The barrier starts, and they're just trying to get position onto the card. It's just absolute chaos, but now the BTRG getting a few kills. They clean up Shy, who has to reset his energy time and time again. We're finally seeing the weakness in BLG.
And finally, they're going over to the player in isolation, leaving the Diva out of mech as well so they could stagger that player out later, and finally they get the job done. 2 minutes on the clock now as BTRG win that fight, but they have to kind of hustle back, collate back to the rest of their teammates who are coming back from respawn, and finally be able to recontest with this peak.
Oh, a preemptive approach. The shatters block. This has been really great to see between these two Reinhardts. None of them getting these 6-man shatters. Now it's both support ultimates used from BTRG to just simply zone off BLG from the area of war and also try to send them back to spawn. But now it's just giving them more anger and more energy to work with as Shy, a human microwave, has the grab. Over has shatter. BTRG have to be extremely careful because they use both support ultimates and haven't won the war yet.
Shy waiting to use this grab. They have to put the pressure onto one so he can't DM it, and there it goes.
Nice grab, self-destruct. Is it blocked? But the job is done. BLG have just spent ages at this point of Junkertown, and they will... Oh, Win-Win just being a little sneaky, but he's gone now. So BLG will get point B from this.
So they finally managed to cav it out, but BTRG made them work for it. They really did, and now BLG have to get through another section of the map that's quite difficult if you don't have the momentum to start things off the right foot, and BTRG can shut things down if things start to go awry early, so we'll have to see if they can maintain that level of play that we got on second from them.
But I think BTRG are really good at wasting time. If you remember Kings Row, they had a BLG 4-minute point C Kings Row to like 3 seconds. I think they have a real chance of winning in time banks if they continue to waste BLG's time. Over is going to have shatter. They've been mostly blocked thus far, and he slams it down. He does find one. Self-destruct from Wands is going to zone off this engagement as it did force out Mika's barrier to protect them from this potential self-destruct as Sky Show just continues to melt away everyone, but the card has barely moved, and now you have a grab from Sky Show, and along with the shatter from Yang that just blows BLG back.
Phenomenal support play from BTRG right there. Win-Win alongside his counterpart Eren just popped off. They were able to put out so much pressure while also going second on the support ultimate usage. We saw Coldest and Mika force theirs out very early on. BTRG were able to take their time. They also put out pressure in the meantime, so really getting a lot of value out of both of their support players here. BTRG doing phenomenally at the support line.
See if Over can catch them off guard with this shatter. I mean, Yang so far behind. He must not predict that he has it yet. He's still going to try and keep his barrier up as much as possible as BLG come down from the high ground. They'll be looking also to set up the self-destruct from Zijin, maybe with the shatter. But again, BTRG are so good at wasting time. This card hasn't gone anywhere. There's only 35 seconds left. Self-destruct at the back from Zijin. Gets nothing. Shy focuses down the main shield of the defense. Now they have nothing to protect them against the amount of damage BLG are raining in. Finally, they win the fight. 17 seconds left, and they're looking down the last area of Junkertown.
Yeah, Shy going forward, trying to get that last bit of ult charge. They know they need it here Mika at 74% as well. They need every bit of sustain they can get. BLG really holding on to a prayer here. If they can get the job done, they have to win this fight right here and right now. It's in overtime.
Wrong and Coldest have to be really smart with when they use Transcendence. Sky Show and Shy are going to have grab. In overtime, BLG cannot afford any mistakes. Shy uses the grab. Is there enough damage to burn through BTRG? Find out in this next episode as charge goes through from Yang. And what a shatter that opens up an opportunity for Over. And he's just sending everyone over the edge. Misses the charge, but it's okay. You had a fatty shatty. BLG overtime. Can they finish the map? Self-destruct from Wands into the back. Dodged it. Got it.
We'll see Coldest swap to the Moira. They're playing the sustained game. If Coldest can get back and help them to do just that. The Ana swap from A-Wrong as well to try to shut down the healing of BLG.
Can Sky Show shut down this fight with this grab? BLG are up by 1 with that Diva kill. Self-destruct over the top from CJ. Double kill! That's exactly what BLG needed. It seemed impossible for them to finish this map. They make the miracle happen. This was a struggle bus just like on King's Row, but oh boy. Oh boy, Heurix.
We are not done yet, though. They have to swap sides and be able to defend themselves, and BTRG have shown that they know what to do on this map.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. We're going to be right back because we promise we're going to fix it. And we're right back, right into the action of BTRG's attack. And you haven't missed much, I promise you. Just a little bit of back and forth between the rides, a little bit of Azaria tickling to get some energy going. But BTRG are starting out good.
And you can already see Shy kind of outpacing Sky Show again. That same story. He has to build up this grab quickly. He's been able to do that in the past. If they could do that, they could get a defense going for sure.
Wands trying to dislodge people from BLG from the high ground. They have to be careful because Shy's coming up to a grab, and that can be what ends this this offense from BTRG very quick. And this is a very hard part where the payload is at. It's like a choke point, like on King's Row, like many very difficult parts for the offense to get through. Shy throws out the grab, no self-destruct with it, but it's enough to take out Cloud and possibly more. Unfortunately for BTRG, A-Wrong's Transcendence not enough to keep them up, but here's an opportunity. Over shield is broken. BTRG might have not have noticed, and they're just gonna take a step back.
In the meantime, though, I mean, BLG has had all this armor and nobody's been able to really dispose of it. Nobody's been able to push out enough pressure to take that stuff down. And BLG have been relatively safe throughout these first 2 minutes of BTRG's attack.
They're getting the payload Further and further, SkyShow needs to set up this grab. You can see how BLG are really playing dispersed right now, keeping their support safe. Having that barrier, having that transcend is going to be important. Coldest hops right on in there with a ton of healing, but can't heal through the self-destruct from both sides. It's Zegen that has the bigger bomb. And BTRG just, they don't want to engage such a difficult part of Junkertown without their full 6.
We'll see BLG able to go forward and take even more. Just biting off a couple of extra little tidbits if they can, and forcing this D.Va to take a lot more pressure once. He's going to be able to give his healers at least some ult charge. I mean, there's a silver lining there, and they're going to need every little bit that they could possibly get because everybody is taking so much chip damage as they approach this payload.
Shy will have the grab, doesn't have to self-destruct, but BTRG, they have to see this coming. Once has to be the one that eats it. Shatter doesn't start the momentum BTRG are looking for, but no main shield now for the defense. And BTRG, yes, Ones, that's what I was looking for, buddy. Eats Shy's grab. Best play ever. BTRG now, they still haven't gotten this cart going because the Transcendence from Coldest allows the defense to push up just a little bit further, and less than 40 seconds remain. BTRG, they have to finish this here.
Oh no, they have to back up is what they have to do, at least for now. As Yang goes in with a charge, but he's exposed, they take him down.
No, that's a feels bad. 25 seconds left, and they can't get staggered anymore here. They'll have one last fight. And SkyShow needs to keep that energy. So there's a silver lining, like you like to say.
Yeah, and we'll see BLG, because of that exposed Reinhardt before, they're still just pushing out so much chip damage, and Coldest getting the better of the deal yet again against Aaron. So they're going to have to wait for another staggered kill, and they don't have any time left. They have to get on the payload now.
Wands, I wanted you to eat that one self-destruct. You won't be able to eat that one. BLG up by 2. BTRG just out of hope. They were looking like they could possibly get some momentum, get their heads together, experiment with what they can do on Junkertown. But BLG will close out the series 4-0.
Wow. I mean, BLG closed that out, and especially in those last 2 maps, really decisively. Really decisively. They looked phenomenal on Horizon. They looked phenomenal there as well on Junkertown. But at BTRG, I think it's a lot closer than the scoreline would suggest, of course, because BTRG showed up certainly in Lijiang. They had a couple of moments there. I mean, King's Row was close. Realistically, you know, one fight looking different, and they could have taken that map.
Especially when BLG only had a 3-second time bank. But let's bring back LaFon. I mean, the scoreline is 4-0, but did you see any bright spots from BTRG throughout the series? Things that they can improve on at least?
A ton. I actually thought this matchup was not really, you know, I said this, I think, at the end of Horizon Lunar Colony, but I don't think this matchup was necessarily BTRG just straight up losing to BLG. There was a lot of questionable decisions that BTRG made that made it just really tough on themselves for no real reason. I mean, running Symmetra 3 attacks in a row, 3-4 attacks in a row doesn't really get you value. You know, you run to a Junkrat over and over, you get trapped over and over, and then, you know, you lose HLC with a, you know, massive time bank disadvantage. And then on King's Row, just, you know, issue after issue in terms of just execution on Streets phase when you're running the DPS comp for a lot longer than you need to. I think this team at its core has some really bright moments, really bright spots. Now the question is, in the coming days, are they going to, you know, clean up that execution? It goes back to the top. It's what we talked about at the very beginning of the broadcast. Execution. Can BTRG show it? And I don't think they did today, but there was glimmers of their 3-3 that was very, very impressive, namely on Control Center. And, you know, even further on End of King's Row. I thought they definitely had moments. So this team is one to watch in the future. They're just one step away.
Yeah, give this team time, especially with their coaching staff, to start building things out, and they'll fix some of those tiny little mistakes that caused the maps. I mean, we already see them in a pretty decent position right now. Yeah, they did just, you know, take a pretty big L in terms of map differential there, but they still have that 4-0 from last week. They look pretty solid against what is considered to be a very, very strong team, and it can only go up from here for them, I would have to imagine, because they did look great, especially on that 3-3, and they can build that up as the season goes on.
And I felt like in BTRG's 3-3, you saw in their defense when they have that momentum, they have the snowball, they're able to keep it. Was it several fights on point B that BTRG were able to hold, and the sniper duels between these two were actually so entertaining, very back and forth. And even you saw Wands eat Shy's grab, so there's definitely glimmers of hope here on BTRG. But the defense much stronger than their offense, hence why not able to finish King's Row, and then not getting much further in Junkertown. But realistically, they shaved off so much time off of BLG's offense. You know, the 3-second time bank on King's Row and overtime for Junkertown.
BTRG seems to have that never say die attitude, you know, and that's going to come in handy later on down the stage, especially when, you know, if they continue this up, they could quite easily make playoffs. You know, 1-1 is not a terrible scoreline to have at the end of 2 weeks.
Well, that's not all the Overwatch we have today. No, sirree. We have Flag Gaming versus Team 4 Victory. We'll see if they'll secure that victory. It will be Rien and Panda joining us for the casting, and we'll see you guys after this quick break.